So with these being as consistent as they are, I guess it doesn't really matter too much which one I hack open and try. So let's find one. How about that one with a nice big tail? Let's do that one. So it's, you know, a little bumpy on top, not quite so much underneath, but nice shape. I'm extremely pleased with the way these have turned out. Cool peppers. Let's see if we can cut it down the tail, I suppose. How about that one? Nope, useless. So not very many seeds. But enough to grow it next year. The smell's very typical of a yellow superhot. Smells a lot like a yellow 7-pot, for instance. I couldn't pick out a Reaper just by smell anyway, so it just smells nice. It smells like a very typical yellow 7-pot. Yeah, typical yellow 7-pot. Smells like a typical yellow superhot pod. Doesn't appear to be much in the way of oil droplets or anything in there, but I'm sure it'll have some oomph to it. Cool. Yellow Reaper. Hi, Nigel Carter here again, and today we have one that I've been looking forward to, at least, and it is Yellow Reaper, as you've just seen. These pods are, I think, really impressive. Nothing to do with my growing skills, of course, and everything to do with the quality of the seeds that we got, so I better just take the seeds from in here, because there's probably only about 8 or 9 in here. So interestingly, well, interestingly anyway, there's only 14 seeds in here, and there's very little placenta for them to sit on. Obviously there's a little bit of placenta in there. I don't know if you can see how much there is, but it's very little. And all I've done is I've very carefully taken away the seeds and none of the placenta. Alright, so the Yellow Reaper. Now, Reapers have a very particular burn, for me anyway, and that's true of both the Red Reapers and also of the Chocolate Reaper cross that I've got, where you kind of get this descending heat that almost goes down as far as your Adam's apple, but in the back of your throat. It's the only pepper I've ever had that does that. So given that the chocolate cross is obviously 50% Reaper, and that still has that kind of burn, we shall see with this one whether it's continued over into the yellow one or not. Alright, cheers. Yellow Carolina Reaper. And it's immediately very hot, and there's absolutely no sweetness to it. Tastes like a yellow superhot, but without the sweetness. It's very fruity. And it's very hot for a yellow pod. Dear me. It's a shame that there isn't any slight acidity to it. It really would help the flavour. The flavour's fine, nothing wrong with it. Tastes like a yellow superhot. And it's just banging straight into the back of my throat. No, it's all around my mouth as well, but back of my throat is really quite sore. Yeah, it's a very pleasant pod. Could do with a little bit of acidity. Oh, wow. But very fruity. Very tiny amount of soapiness, but only a tiny amount, and it doesn't detract from the flavour. But it's really pretty hot. Now it's all tongue burn. The back of my tongue is absolutely dying. Considering how little placenta there was in there, that's very hot. I kind of eyes water. Yeah, right now it's just frying my tongue. I'm losing all sense of taste on my tongue, which is a good indication of actually how hot this is. I'm crying, lots of tears dripping down my face, but it's not hot tears. That's really taking my tongue to pieces. Can't taste anything anymore, it's all gone. Now it's actually going to the back of my throat. I'm really starting to get that typical hot cold in the back of the throat. So we'll see if it goes down the throat a bit. But right now it's just sat right at the very back and just really burning away. I'm starting to sweat a lot as well. It's a hot pod. It's not as hot as a Red Reaper, but it's pretty hot. Ow. That hurts a lot too. It's very painful in the mouth and towards the back, the very back of the tongue. Back of the throat's really kind of caning as well. It's hotter than I expected it to be. I think it's just about peaked. So fairly quick. Like a lot of yellow superhots do tend to be pretty quick in terms of the heat rises and rises and rises quickly and then levels off quickly as well. So I've still got really nasty burning cold sensation in the back of my throat. Really starting to sweat a lot too. Wow. Yeah, it's definitely peaked now. It's really starting to tank a little bit. It's not quite as painful as it was. A very painful pod. I thought it would be hot, but I didn't think it would be this painful. Yellow pods tend not to be quite this bad. And it's tanking quite quickly. Wow. I don't know what to say. It's kind of taking my breath away a little bit. I don't have the thing in the back of the throat traveling down right now. What I would compare it to the most would be the yellow 7 pot. It very much has that yellow 7 potty kind of flavour, which is, you know, typical for the vast majority of yellow superhots. So that's not that surprising. Excuse me. The flavour's good. I think it would be a very good sauce pod. Just like the yellow 7 pot makes great sauce, I think this would too. I'm just trying to concentrate on feeling sensation in the back of my throat to see if it actually keeps on going down. It actually is a little bit further down than it started out, but it's not moved down like the red Reaper does, and like the chocolate cross that I've got. It's more just sitting in the back of the throat, moves a little bit down and just sits there like a smouldering coal. And my nose is running a lot as well, but it's going away fairly quickly. Again, yellow pods do tend to do that, and this one's no exception. Yeah, it's tanking really fast now. So now I've just got a very nice warmth in my throat, very nice warmth in my mouth. It's just enough to make me cough. Yeah, dripping. It is 90 degrees here, I suppose. Well, I guess we'll leave it there. So, Yellow Reaper. Very, very nice pod. Very nice shape. You know, you've seen how they look. Very cool. Very pleased with the way that they've grown. Plants get quite big. It's not as productive as I'd hope, but you get I suppose there'll be 20 pods off a plant. Yeah, it's pretty much gone. The back of the throat thing hasn't really travelled down like it does for the Reaper and for the chocolate Reaper cross, but that doesn't really mean very much. Is it a Reaper? I can't tell you. I was sold seeds as a Reaper, so that's all I can call it. But it's a very cool pod and I like it a lot. Flavour's great. So, this is Nigel Carter saying thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be back soon with a few more. See you later.